In many parts of Africa, there's this plant. It's so bitter that eating it is almost a rite of passage. But this isn't just about a flavor challenge. Nope, it's a cornerstone of traditional medicine, and it's believed to cure just about everything from a stomachache all the way to cancer. Today, we're digging into the legend of bitter leaf.
So that brings us to the big question, right? Can something that's famous for being so incredibly bitter actually be some kind of miracle cure? In this explainer, we're going to put that legend to the test, separating the ancient wisdom from the modern science. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first. Scientifically, the plant we're talking about is called Vernonia Amygdalina. It's a shrub you can find growing all over sub-Saharan Africa. And its reputation really comes down to its leaves. They are, you guessed it, extremely bitter. But they're also packed with nutrients, which is why they're so important in both cooking and traditional healing.
But to really understand bitter leaf, you have to see it as way more than just a plant or an ingredient. It is deeply, deeply woven into the fabric of daily life and culture.
The versatility of this plant is just incredible. In Nigeria, it's the absolute star of iconic dishes like ofe onugbu. Over in Ethiopia, it's used to make a traditional beer called tella. And across West Africa, people actually use this stems as chew sticks, kind of like natural toothbrushes. And get this, it's not even just a human thing. Wild chimps in Tanzania have been observed eating it, and scientists think they're using it to self-medicate against parasites. Of course, when it comes to cooking, people almost always wash the leaves, sometimes over and over, just to tone down that really powerful bitter flavor.
Now, that rich cultural history, well, it's matched by an equally rich and very long list of health claims. This is really where the legend of the miracle plant starts to come into focus.
And wow, what a list it is. According to popular belief, bitter leaf can help your digestion, help you manage your weight, boost your immune system, and manage diabetes. It's also supposed to improve heart health, clear up your skin, bring down a fever, and even help you sleep. But hang on, there's more. It's also sold as a cure for stomach aches, malaria, pneumonia, and yes, even cancer. It's really presented as this true do-it-all cure.
But with a list that long, you gotta be a little skeptical, right? As one publication put it, some of the claims out there are truly wild and outlandish. And this is the real tension at the heart of the story. That blurry line between traditional belief and what can actually be proven. So let's make that move ourselves. Let's step away from the cultural wisdom for a second and head into the clinical lab to see which of these claims actually hold up under a microscope.
Let's start with diabetes. The belief here is incredibly strong. Look at that number. Almost 80% of people in one Nigerian study believe it helps control blood sugar. And it turns out, in this case, the science seems to back that up. Multiple studies have confirmed that extracts from bitter leaf really do have a glucose-lowering effect, possibly because they help enhance insulin sensitivity. So for this one, there's a real scientific basis for that traditional belief.
Okay, now for malaria, a massive health issue in the places where bitter leaf grows. So the plant contains quinine, which is a compound in well-known antimalarial drugs, and the early lab studies looked really promising. An extract was shown to effectively fight the malaria parasite in mice. But when it was tested in a proper clinical trial on humans, the results got a whole lot more complicated.
Let's take a closer look at that human trial, because this is so important. While about 2/3 of the patients said they felt better, their symptoms actually improved. Only a third of them, just 32%, were actually cured, meaning the parasite was completely gone from their system. And that is a crucial distinction. It might make you feel better, but that doesn't mean it's actually getting rid of the disease.
And now for the biggest claim of them all, cancer. The science here is fascinating, but it also requires a ton of caution. Lab studies have shown that bitter leaf extracts can slow down the growth of human breast cancer cells. It seems to trigger a sort of self-destruct sequence in those cancer cells. But, and this is a huge but, these were in vitro studies. That means it was done on cells in a petri dish, not on actual people.
This chart from one of those studies really brings the finding to life. You can see it clear as day. As you move from left to right, the concentration of the bitter leaf extract goes up, and look what happens. The percentage of dead cancer cells goes up right along with it. It's a really powerful visual that shows the plant's potential, at least in the lab. But again, that's a very, very long way from being a proven cancer treatment for humans.
And all of this, the culture, the claims, the complex science, it all leads us to what might be the real heart of the issue. This massive gap between how many people have heard of it and how many people actually understand it. Just get this. A study in Nigeria found that a staggering 98% of people had heard of bitter leaf. 98%. It's basically a household name. Awareness is practically universal.
But here's the twist. Of that 98%, only about 12%, just 11.7% to be exact, were found to have good knowledge about what it actually does, how to use it, and what the risks are. That is a gigantic disconnect between what people have heard and what they really know.
So what's driving this knowledge gap? Well, this chart tells the whole story. The vast majority of people, we're talking 88%, get their information from friends and family. Social media, TV, they're not even close. This means that for generations, this information has been passed down informally, not from scientists or doctors. And that has real consequences. When people are just relying on what they've heard, they can get things wrong. How to use it, how much to take, and what the dangers might be. For instance, a lot of people just don't know that taking way too much bitter leaf can actually be toxic. The bottom line is, without good evidence-based education, the plant's real potential gets lost in all the misuse and misinformation.
Okay, so after looking at the culture, the claims, and the clinical data, what's the final verdict on bitter leaf? What's the big takeaway here?
All right, let's boil it all down. First, there's no question that bitter leaf is a nutritious food and a culturally vital plant. Second, it absolutely contains powerful compounds that have real, measurable effects in a lab. Third, some of those traditional uses like managing blood sugar seem to be supported by early science. But, and this is probably the most important point of all, it is not a substitute for proven medical treatment for serious diseases like malaria or cancer. And finally, there's this huge gap between common belief and scientific fact that we really need to address.
So, the story of bitter leaf is this incredible case study on the intersection of tradition and science. It shows us that ancient wisdom can be a fantastic starting point for modern research, but it isn't always the final word. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other traditional remedies are out there just waiting for their turn in the lab?